Hello you and welcome back on the mat, or maybe you're new to the channel. My name is Tobi if you don't know that yet, and I'm happy to have you here for a little sequence, a little practice to get into the handstand, or trying to attempt the handstand at least. We will focus on a bit of prep work to get upside down or take away a bit of fear from the handstand. Just grab your mat, you need nothing else than this and a bit of motivation, and let's meet on the mat. Come onto your mat into a kneeling position for the start of this practice. We will focus more on skill work today and not so much on flow time and creative sequences like you used to. But the most important thing about the handstand is the skill element. It's not so much about strength. You need some strength to get into the pose and to hold the pose for sure, but it's more a technique, a skill pose. If you perfect the technique, the skills, you will have a way more easier time to get into a handstand. I can promise you that. From the kneeling position, bring your hands to the ground, come into a table pose. Hands are pressing into the ground, the fingers are pressing into the ground, and then try to lift the palms of your hand. The fingers are staying onto the ground, and we're doing like some little push-up for your hands. Palms leaving the ground, arms are always straight. Bring the palms down again, lift them up, bring them down, up and down, up and down, up, down, up, down, up and down. Flip your hands, your fingers are pointing to your knees. Shift your weight a bit to the back, shift it back to the front, back again, and then just sway around here for a bit to open up your forearms, to warm up the wrist, your hands. Sit back onto your knees, on your heels, and then make fists with your hands and just make circles with your fists in opposite directions, and then switch sides and go in the opposite direction with both hands. Switch sides again, circles in the other direction, and switch sides. Nice. Come onto the mat, the hands to the front, feet to the ground, and push up into your downward facing dog for the beginning. Stay here for a moment. Get active here. Push your hands into the ground. And slowly walk your feet more to the back of your mat. Walk your hands more to the front of the mat, and we are in a super long plank. Try to round your back here as much as possible. Try to activate your core, your bum, your feet. Also active. Your arms are super straight. And again, your biceps is rotating to the front more. Hold here for a moment. And then try to release the knees to the ground. Bring your belly to the ground. The hands are coming way to the front, so your arms are long. Your feet are coming to the ground. Your hips are pushing into the ground below you, and your hands are pushing into the ground in front of you. Hands, your hips and your feet are pushing into the ground, and then also bring your head to the ground. Your upper head is pushing into the ground as well, and then everything is pushing in the ground, but you try to lift off your chest and your belly from the ground. So everything is pushing into the ground, and you lift your chest, your belly, so you can put a hand under your belly and your chest and try to hold it. Be active here. Push everything into the ground. Push your hands, your hip into the ground. Hold, and release. Come into a swing pose for a moment. This is the feeling you need to have for a handstand. So you need to suck in your belly button. You need to be active in your lower back and contract it to have a stable handstand. So this is a super nice way to simulate a handstand just laying. Come back onto your belly, hands to the ground again, hands are pushing into your ground, your upper head is coming to the mat, and then lift off your belly, lift off your chest. The belly button is pulling to your spine, pulling into the sky. Everything is pushing into the ground, but your belly is leaving the ground, your chest is not on the ground, and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Come on up again. Come to the back of your mat. Come into a kneeling posture, and then put your right leg to the front for the beginning. Try to have a 90-degree angle in your right leg. Your back straight for the beginning, and then put your belly, your chest onto your right leg. The hands are diving to the front, so you're trying to dive to the front. Your arms get long, and then your hands are coming to the front in front of you. You put yourself onto your right toes, and your upper leg of the right leg is very close to your body. And then try to push your hip to the sky. The right leg is becoming very long, and then pull your left knee into your chest. Put it as close to your left wrist as you can. Put both heels to the ground, lift up. Sink down again. The right knee is coming to the ground. This time the left knee is in front. Lift your upper body up. And then dive to the front again, hands to the ground. Come onto your left toes. Straighten your left leg as much as possible. Right leg is coming to the sky. And then pull your right knee in. Try to put down your right foot as close to the right wrist as possible. Put both heels down, come up. The left knee is going to the ground again. We're switching sides. Upper body up. And then dive down again. One more time on this side. Come onto your right toes. Right leg is going straight. Left leg is pulling to the sky. Then pull the left knee into the chest and put your left foot down in front of the right one. Lift up again. Whew. And then put your right knee down one last time. Dive down, put the hands down in front of you. Straighten your left leg, come onto your left toes. The right leg is pulling to the sky. And pull it into your chest. Put it down in front of the left one and come up again. Nice job. We will meet again at the back of the mat for another round, but now with a bit of jumping. Come onto your right knee for this one. Again, same procedure as before. You're diving into the front, the arms are long. You extend your back, you push yourself out of your shoulders. Push the hand always very firmly into the ground. The fingertips are gripping the ground behind you. And then come up and try to make a little hop here. So your left foot is here, the hopping foot, and the right foot is getting some momentum upward. Try to hop. Try, maybe you just make like little hops here, or maybe you're going upwards and you can hold it for here. But that's not the aim here. It's just to get the feeling of hopping and shifting your weight over your shoulders. Cool. Release down to the ground again and switch sides. Come onto your left knee, the right foot is going to the front. And then dive again to the front, hands to the ground, arms are straight and active. The biceps is rotating to the front. Right foot is the hopping foot, the left foot is your foot that gives you a bit more momentum upwards. Try to make little hops. Try to hop further and further upwards. And maybe there's a point where you can hold or not. That doesn't matter. It's just matter that you get the feeling for the handstand here. Release. Bring your knees to the ground. Give yourself a moment. Let the blood go down into your body again. Awesome. Maybe you get the feeling where you weight where your center of gravity needs to move to get into the handstand. And if not, don't stress about it. It's a process. It's a way to get there. You need to repeat it, and your body needs to adapt to this weird posture that it's not that it's not used to. Sorry. And we're attempting this one more time. Come onto your left knee, the right foot is going to the front. Body up, and then dive to the front. Hands to the ground. Come onto your right toes. Right foot is the hopping foot. And try to kick up with your left foot. And maybe you can hold it somewhere. Maybe you're getting closer and closer to the point where you can hold it or pull both legs up if you are already working on a handstand. Come down again. And switch legs. As I said before, don't worry about getting into a handstand just yet. It's more about getting the feeling for where you need to moving in. Getting rid of the fear, which is always connected with the handstand. Left leg to the front, dive to the front, hands to the ground, arms straight, come onto your left toes, and give yourself some hops here. Try to always activate your lower back here. Your belly button is sucking in. Your lower back is activated like we had it in the pose on our bellies. Maybe you're still hopping, maybe you hold a handstand. Both super good options. And then slowly come down again. Come onto your knees. Give yourself some rest. Maybe shake out the arms. Yeah, maybe your wrists, your shoulders are a bit tight now, or a bit tired. Awesome job for now. And now try to come into Malasana, yogi squat. We're trying another way to get into a handstand with some little frog hops. Don't worry about it. It's also not about getting into a headstand, but it's a nice way to attempt an entry with both feet on the ground into a handstand. From your Malasana, your back is straight, your feet are a bit wider. And slowly put your hands to the front, also again onto the mat. Arms stay straight the whole time. Come onto your toes. Your arms get perpendicular to the ground. Your hip is pushing up to the sky. Try to have your arms as straight as possible. Pull your back to the sky and then try to just make a hop and hop with both feet closer to your wrist and come into Malasana again. Same again, hands to the front and make a hop and hop closer to your hands. Hop again and go back to the end of the mat, and we're repeating this a few more times. Push your hands into the ground, arms get perpendicular to the ground, and then hop. And again, hop. And again, hop. And then walk back to the end of the mat. You can continue hopping. You can try to get some flow time in here. But you can also try to hop a bit more up and get the hips more over your shoulders. You have to imagine that you have a few points in your body that you want to get in one line. It's your wrist, your shoulders, your hips, and your feet. If every part of your body, which I just mentioned, is one point, you want to get all those points in one straight line. So try to attempt that here. Again, bring your hands to the ground, arms are straight, and you could hop again, or you try to get some more momentum and bring your hips more up over your shoulders. You don't need to hold it up there, but maybe you try to hop a bit more up. And if you find a point where you can stick to a holding practice here, great, do it. Come again back to the mat for another round. Hands to the ground, arms straight. Take a hop. Take maybe a bigger hop. And one last hop or hold. Amazing. Come to the back of the mat. Come onto your knees. Sit down onto your heels. Take a moment here. Find your breath again. And for the last part of this practice, we are moving to a wall. So grab your mat and let's meet on the wall. Hope you made it to the wall. First of all, I want to show you how you can try to fall better out of your handstand. So you take away this part that you're fearing the most of it, the falling. And if you get used to this practice, the falling part is not an issue anymore, and you don't need to worry about it anymore that much. Bring your feet to the wall, the hands pushing into the ground, arms straight, and then try to walk up the wall with both feet, and then walk closer to the wall. Your face is closer to the wall, but your gaze is always between your wrists. I haven't mentioned it before, but bring your gaze always to the middle of your wrists. So if you're attempting a handstand and you're falling out of it, just try to make a wheel to one side, open up your leg, and go down. It's that easy. I will show you also the other side. You open up the leg and wheel down to one side. So you're not falling over your head or to the front, you're just cartwheeling into one direction. You can try this for yourself a couple times, but now we want to hold a handstand for a couple seconds just to build some strength, build some feeling into our shoulders and our core, our back, so we know how a handstand feels and how we can attempt it a bit better. So bring your hands close to the wall, but not too close. Have maybe one length of your hand to the wall still. The hands pushing into the ground, arms perpendicular to the ground, arms straight. The biceps is pulling to the front, arms rotating, elbows pulling to one another. And then again, have your hopping foot, your other foot which is pulling you upwards, and then come to the wall, kick up. Maybe you need 1 or 2 attempts, and then hold here for 30 seconds. If you can't hold 30 seconds, don't worry about it. Again, here, pull your belly button in, activate your lower back, push yourself out of your shoulders here, arms straight, gaze in between your hands, and hold for another 15. Find your breath here. Try to calm you down. Try to calm yourself down. Not that easy if you're upside down to talk also. Another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release down to the ground. Try to let your blood come down into your body again. And we have another round of those. And then we are off the mat and you can take a rest. Find your breath again. Find the strength, the rest of your strength in your arms and your shoulders and your belly for that. And then come to the wall again. Hands into the ground. Fingertips are gripping the ground. Arms straight. Elbows pulling to one another. Arms slightly rotated. Come onto your hopping foot. And then kick up to the wall. And go. Hold here for another 30 seconds. Now. Push yourself out of your shoulders. Belly button is pulling in. Lower back is working. Another 20. You have half of it, another 15. Another 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Awesome job. Slowly come onto your heels again. Sit down. Let the blood flow into your body again. Feel the rush of energy that the inversion is giving you. And come onto your belly for a second. Your arms go wide like a T. And then roll onto your left side. Your right foot is stepping behind you. And you roll into your left shoulder. Come onto your right fingertips. The head can be floating or you put it to the ground. Try to open up the shoulder here a bit. Try to release some tension we build up in this practice. And slowly come to the other side over the middle. Right arm long. Come onto your left fingertips. Left foot is stepping behind you. Roll onto your right shoulder. Come back to the middle. Push yourself up. Arms to the front. Hands pushing into the ground. Upper leg is perpendicular and let your chest sink down to the ground for a slight puppy pose to finish off this practice. Put your hand down if you want to. Maybe you can also put your chest down if you're super flexible and open your shoulders. Give yourself some time here. Open shoulders is a thing that is very, very useful in the handstand if you're attempting it. It makes the handstand practice so much harder if your shoulders are tight and not so available. I've experienced this by myself a lot and realized when I open up my shoulders, it's way more approachable than with very tight shoulders. If the shoulder is tighter, you need more strength to hold a handstand, and that's not so nice. Slowly release, roll into your back for the final pose for your Shavasana. Release all the tensions, take some rest here, get into stillness. Become passive, try not to move at all. Just the breath is moving your body. And you're diving into stillness. Feeling gravity is pulling you down to the mat. The whole body is getting heavier and heavier. And you're sinking deeper down and deeper down into yourself. Feel free to stay longer in your resting pose in your Shavasana. One thing I need to mention for your handstand practice, for the training into getting upside down. The handstand is not a sprint, it's a marathon, and you need to be working out constantly to have improvement there. Your body is not used to staying on your hands for a long time because it's the other way around. You're used to be on your feet but not on your hands, so you need to work on this constantly. Your body needs to be adapted to it. You need to build some muscles in your fingers, in your wrists, in your forearms especially. You will feel this a lot if you're new to a handstand practice, but you also need to engage your whole body and get a feeling for being upside down. So don't get frustrated with yourself with the practice of getting upside down. It's a process, and you will make progress over time if you work on this constantly. Happy to have you here, happy to show you some tips and some ways to get upside down. Hope you had some fun and learned something from it maybe. And I'm happy to see you again on the mat very soon. Peace out, your Tobi.